had a chance to look at the preceding minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve them as presented?
Make a motion.
Discussion? All in favor say aye. Okay. Citizens input. Anybody want to address the council? Okay. Okay, communication from the mayor. First of all, I know it seemed like in the last 6 months or so, we have had more tragedy in this county or other places, especially, over the weekend with a child, and also, last week, we lost a former council member and a friend of all of us. We grew up with him, Alan Smith. He was a fireman with us at the fire department, council member. Like I said, we grew up with Alan and his brothers. You don't know why, but, stuff like that, it just, lives taken too short, too soon. But just remember those families. Like I said, it seems like it's been a bad year right now for everybody. It's been a bad year, it really has. So maybe things will get better. Also, we got the letters back from the state. We got 2 letters. Let's see. Okay. The first letter we got was in July 11th that from the comptroller said, we commend the town's elected and appointed officials for adopting the fiscal year 2019 budget before July 1, 2018. The outstanding work of everyone in the town will assist in better managing the town's finances in the coming year by immediately instituting appropriate budgetary controls for fiscal year 2019. Adopting the budget in a timely manner allows the town's financial staff more time to close the town's official accounting records and have all those records available by audit by August 31st for fiscal year 2018, as required by TCA 9-2-102. And then in August the 2nd, we got another letter from the comptroller stating that this letter constitutes approval by this office for the town's 2019 fiscal budget as adopted by the governing body. So our budget was approved by the comptroller. Didn't have any doubt it wouldn't be, but it's good to get those acknowledgments. That's what's good about, like I said in that letter, trying to get everything done by July 1, and that's what the comptroller likes to see. So, but that's all I have. Okay, financial report. Ms. Tracy?
For July 2018 in our general fund, we have $686,894.98. Reserve for rainy day fund is $45,000, and our special fire protection fees received is $80,119.81. And that amount is starting the new fiscal year of this year, of 18-19. So our balance is the same, $80,000. Our adjusted general fund balance is $561,775.17. And our State Street Aid Fund, we have $288,263.61. And our Industrial Fund, we have $432.99. And our Drug Fund, $17,246.83. Our revenue for the month of July is $135,867.11. Our expenditures were $82,512.13, with our difference of $53,354.98. So it's down because it's a new fiscal year. So we've done very good for the month of July.
Real good night. And we should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 6%, and we're at 6%, so we're right on target as far as the budget goes. And yes, it was a very, very good month, but that's normal. Summertime is our best times. Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the financial report as presented?
I'll make a motion.
I'll say.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. All right. Reports from council members. Mr. Lawson.
Kerbal Street Sanitation Department, July and August. We had 66 tons of garbage, 3 tons of recycle, 8 tons of brush. Mowing throughout the city, keeping Asbury Park mowed and cleaned. Picked up brush throughout the city. Marked street lights that are out, called in LUV. And cutting overhead limbs throughout the city. Fixed the guardrail over here off of Briscoe Road. That's all. But at one point, I would like to add something to the agenda.
Okay, when we get down to new business, we'll do that. All right. Ms. Beth?
I have the police department and mine, so I'll read
Okay.
the police department first. There was 311 complaints, 7 arrests, 4 escorts, 154 citations were written. They patrolled 8,977 miles, 26 accidents. And that was the police. And then with the library, we had a lot of new things happening in the library. So there was 798 items checked out, 1,064 items checked in, 445 e-books checked out. They added 5 new patrons, and then they had 17 items added. And as you can tell with the books out there in the back, there was 1,340 items deleted. But what they've done is, since they've got the new bookshelves and everything, they're kind of weeding out, like some of those books were from the 70s. So that's why that number's so high. So they're hoping by selling some of these, you know, they'll have extra to put more books back in. Anyway, so then there was 232 computer users. They loaned 18 and borrowed 17 items. They held one children's program with 10 in attendance, but the total library attendance was 490. And then it says, due to the end of our summer reading program and closing for renovations, our attendance decreased significantly, but we're up and running again for August. The new changes have been well received by our patrons, and we are so grateful to the city for their support and flexibility as we have made these changes. So, looks wonderful in there. They have a few more things to complete, and then it'll be brand new.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't had a chance to look at it, it looks like a different place. It really looks good. The new lighting and shelves and whatever, new furniture, looks like a different place. It really looks good.
The girls are doing great.
Yes, they have. Mr. Smith?
The fire department for last month, we had 1 false call, 1 house fire, 1 vehicle fire. Responded to a chemical spill 1 time, a smoke plant once. Had 10 vehicle accidents. Assisted the ambulance service once. Assisted the Giuseppe Nelson for Live-Star 1 time for a total of 17 calls. And for anybody who's not aware of it, several months back when we applied for the CDBG grant for a fire truck, the town of Kerrville did get the grant. So the total number on it's, I'd have to get 72.
279,
279,
752,
752, with us city matching,
39,000.
so
10%.
it's a little over, it's over 10%.
About, I think it's 12%. Total was like 313,000 and change.
But that'll be taken out of the fire protection once it comes time for it, and we're still several months to the point where we even have to start discussing.
When will that grant come through? You get an idea?
Bid process now is putting the specs out to different ones that's aware of the grant being issued to us, and 2 or 3 right now, Aunt Eddie, that's contacted.
Yeah, we can't do anything. We can get information, but we have to wait till the contract is signed before we can let bids out.
Officially get to it.
Yeah. We can get our specs and stuff together, but we just can't send them out.
But we have got a letter stating that we did official notification that we did get it.
Once you get a bid out on that and accept the bid, how long will it take to build that thing?
According to what kind you get.
It's from the time you send the bids out until the actual truck gets here, you're looking at a year,
Not long.
if not longer. It's according to what we spec, then it's how busy the factories are.
Then it take a little bit longer on the last truck we got, it took about a year and a half on it, didn't
I think it's 18 months from start to finish to get the truck. Time we started, time we got the truck here.
Yeah.
It's about 18 months.
And before we have to spend any of the money, you're looking at least 8 or 9 months maybe. Because a lot of times if you get the chassis, they want you, they ask for the chassis, pay the chassis, and then, but still you're looking at 6 or 7, 8 months off. First year maybe, right, first year. But that's good, we got it.
We
Yeah.
applied for years and years, and
it? Start saying you guys been trying to get that for a long time.
it's a good feeling to win. Feels like sometimes to get that one, especially the size of the grant. That's all I've got this time.
Okay, thank you, sir. Do I hear a motion to accept all department heads and department reports?
Motion made.
Second motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any old business? Okay, new business. Lloyd, what would you like to add, sir?
I'd like to add to the agenda, discuss Walnut Street, the paving on Walnut Street.
Okay, that'll be number 12.
Second motion to add it to the agenda.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Okay. All right, number 1, council discuss FY 2017-2018 line item budget amendments. That's typical end of the year house cleaning. Straightening up the budget, anything that was, money was spent outside or inside, whatever, it's a standard procedure. So, I hear a motion, we approve, the 2017-2018 line item budget amendments.
Make the motion.
Do I hear a second? Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Number 2, council discuss first reading of ordinance 2018-09, amending the annual operating budget for FY beginning 2001-18 to 6/30/19.
That is our amending budget for the new year, and the reason why the Public Works, that capital outlay line it was gone. So we just need to put that back in there
Okay.
on the budget.
Sometimes I don't know why, I've had it when I was working, sometimes we print stuff off and the very bottom line on a page, it mysteriously disappears sometimes, and that's what happened here.
Was that what we talked about the other day on the capital outlay for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just, sometimes it just disappears. This puts it back. Right. Hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second motion.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 3, council discuss report on debt obligation form CT 0253. Ms. Tracy.
Okay. This one is a report on debt obligations, that it's a form that we have to have for the comptroller's office to complete our paving grant, not paving grant, our paving loan. And all this entails is that we are asking for a $200,000 loan with a 3.4 interest rate for street paving, just one of those I do's and shalls at the comptroller's office
Okay, this is another piece of paper they gotta have.
that they have to have.
Okay. All right. I don't think we have to have a motion to send that to them, that's just informing everybody,
It's just informing.
that's what that is. Okay, and I have signed it, and it's ready to go. Okay. Anybody have any questions about that? All right. Okay, number 4, council discuss applying for TML, the Pool Safety Grant 50/50 match and improving resolution number 2018-05.
This is the one we budgeted, correct?
Yes.
We have, for $700 for each department. And I've already got the list of what each department, their wish list of what they want. And it's already been submitted in. We just have to do the resolution to make it final. And then in September, first part of September, then that's when we'll hear if we were awarded.
Can I make the motion?
Your second? Oh, I'm sorry, Beth. Excuse me. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 5, council discuss roadblock for Open Arms Ministry for 9/29/18. Has anybody else asked for that date?
No, sir.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion we don't have that date.
Okay. I'll second that one, so. You're right, yes, right. And with the, you know, inform them that all we can authorize is current fund shown, so we can't anywhere else.
That's the same day as the Louis Blue Festival.
Oh, it is?
September 29th?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the same day as the Louis Blue Festival.
okay,
Okay.
okay. All right,
Have a good weekend to have it.
okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Okay, number 6, council discuss quote on salt spreader. Mr. Lawson.
Did you give me the quotes on that?
Teresa.
That's in your packet.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to dig it out.
Here, you can look at it.
Total was 5801. I'll make a motion that we purchase the salt spreader for 5801 from Geyser Services.
Second motion. This was also budgeted, and we planned on doing it.
Yeah, that's when the money went away, we didn't have money to buy it.
Yeah, it's budgeted.
I have motion and second, discussion. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right. Oh, we better vote on this if we're spending money. All right, call roll, please.
Mr. Patrick Fielding, Mr. Eric Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Beth Lawson. Mr. Dwayne Gibson, Mr. Lloyd Lawson.
Yes.
Mayor Stixberry.
Yes, motion carries. All right, number 7, council discuss air bottle bids. Mr. Smith.
Received bids back, 2 bids, 14,100 and 10,679. We budgeted right at 10,000, I think is what we had in line for it. Just a little bit of over what we originally planned, but like we did have 10,000 in there for the budget, also these bottles. That was for, you coming right off, let's see, how many bottles exactly?
20.
20 new bottles. And the big majority of ours actually runs out this year.
Some of them have run out.
But there again, it is a budgeted item.
Okay.
And I do make a motion to accept the bid from SCBA Sales and Rentals, $10,679.98. Should be in the packets as well.
Okay. I hear a second.
I see.
Discussion. Call roll, please.
Mr. Eric Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Beth Lawson. Yes. Mr. Lloyd Lawson.
Yes.
Mayor Stixberry.
Yes, motion carries. Number 8 was discuss storage building. I want to table that until next month. I'm going to sit down with department heads and see exactly what they're needing, so we have a better idea of what we're looking at, and we might be able, what we might be able to do. So we'll table that until next month. That's okay with you. Number 9, council discuss code violations. Mr. Lawson.
The appeal board met after the planning commission the other night, and we all got together and was talking. We didn't have any violations, but I wanted to get everybody together to get their opinion on stuff. And Tessa, Lisa wasn't here, Tessa was here. And we talked about a lot of stuff, and one of the things that we talked about was these houses that there's nobody living in. It's burned or in shambles, and properties in bad shape. How are we going to go about taking care of that? That's going to be a question to Kathy on that. How can we take care of these properties? Do we go in and try to clean them up, or what do we do? Or how can we handle that?
One of the things we discussed is we're going to go ahead and send to the owners, give them the opportunity and then let the appeals board make a recommendation if they don't do it, what needs to be done. Because some of them are tied up in estates, and I need to work with them
Yeah.
hands-on, to make sure that the proper people get noticed.
Cause if, and we spoke about this, if we go in, if we go in and clean these places up and invest thousands of dollars, and these people are in nursing homes for some reason, if they are in nursing homes and they pass away, then if they sell that property, we lose that money. We don't get it.
We need to, that's why I said I need to talk to them and put something in. We can do something, but we've got to get a lien for the Carroll's expenses to record to get it down on the property. So we have priority over TennCare, nursing home benefits and that type of thing.
And you can look into that.
Mhm.
And one other thing that Tessa brought to my attention the other night was, some of this grant money for these home improvements, can we use some of that money to purchase this property or clean that property up?
I doubt it.
I know they said Oak Ridge that they use some money for stuff like that.
We need to look at what the ones that we've recently done, that's the one in front of us, that money, flows through that program to the homeowner, and it doesn't come to the city. We'll have to make sure that it's money that comes to the city, and that's an approved thing to use it
So
for.
you think it might be a different grant than what we've got right now?
It could be. I need to check on that, because some of them may allow it. I don't think that home grant that. we
I think
keep-
it's just specifically, you can purchase, I know, if I'm not mistaken, in the past, you could repair them up to a point, and then if they was past that point, they went in and rebuilt it. Or
Right.
whatever, got like a mobile home or modular or whatever. I don't think it's ever been discussed about maybe tearing it down. But now, if it's, like I said, it may be a different, this home, what we're talking about here, it may be a different animal than what you're talking about. You may be talking like an urban renewal type, or a renewal type grant,
It's a CDBG grant. yeah.
CDBG, like
Say
an urban
that's
renewal,
different
that what,
than
something
what
along
we-
that lines we're talking
We
about?
call it a land bank, we call it the land bank, and so the land bank will, the house on Park Road is burnt, the little woman's like 90, she has no funds, her son won't do anything with it. I did con him in last year to boarding it up and mowing the yard, but now nobody's touched it. She doesn't have any money to tear it down. So it's $6,000 to $10,000 to tear a house down the last, and to haul away the debris, the last that I've heard. So where's that money gonna come from if we decide to do it?
Well, that's why we have to make sure that there's a property that we can file a lien against, and then if it's not satisfied, then we can ask for the property to be sold. That's not the city of Carrollville doesn't want to start acquiring taxpayers' property. We just want to do something that we can get the property cleaned up. So but that kind of thing, what we talked about with the appeals board is they're gonna look at every parcel of property. One of their things is they're either going to recommend it to be sent back to, be cited and take it through the Carrollville courts process, which would go to the city court, or they're gonna make a recommendation for the attorney to become involved. And we talked about that and so all of these issues that you're dealing with, they need to go through the process, write the letters, do that with the landowners, and then if they come in and say, I can't afford it, then that's something that needs to be recommended to be turned over to the city attorney and let me look at it. But one of the things I'm gonna look at as far as the full board's concerned, I'm going to look at what this property is, who the owners are, what the circumstances, to make sure that if this board passes that the street department's to go out and go on to property to do something with it, to clean it up, that those costs can be recouped somehow by the city. That the city's not in a situation that they're going in and cleaning private owners' property up without being able to recover for it. And there's a lot of different ways that we can recover.
And that'd be a narrow set of circumstances, like I said, it'd be through the appeals board and whatever else, not to think we're just gonna go out and start cleaning up people's property.
Right.
It's gonna have to be through the, building inspector, the coach people and work through that side of the house.
Right,
Like
and,
abandoned, and like I said, houses that's, yeah, okay.
right, and one of the things that in that, what we were talking about, what the appeals board, that the codes enforcement officer could always make a recommendation to the board, let them consider it, and one of those recommendations we talked about, especially on the problem, because that's what they're focusing on now, is to talk about, tell the appeals board all the actions they've taken, if they've been working on it for at least a year or two, at some point in time, they know right now what they're gonna recommend on some of these properties for me to look into it. But that needs to be by recommendation and sent from the appeals board. That the appeals board looks at it and accepts that recommendation, and they are the ones who will ultimately bring it. Ask for it to be brought in front of council.
This one on Park Road, it'll probably be turned over to you at our next meeting, and we'll discuss that. And another one we've got is the, Joanne property.
I've got a list of those, I brought them with me.
I think they posted this property the other night.
It's been posted 4 different times, but the new, or 3 different times, but the new letter I posted after the planning commission meeting.
Right.
So it has been posted.
So what will happen is they are sending out the new letters that, I went through and reviewed them, we met with the planning commission, and now Tessa's sending those letters out that are in compliance with our code and everything that they need to do. Those letters are going out again because it gives the property owners an opportunity to come in front of the appeals board. Even if they don't ask to come in front of the appeals board, the codes officers can always bring it up, saying nothing's being done here, haven't taken action, and then they can make their recommendation to the appeals board if it needs to be referred to me, or if they need to take it through the city court citation. And sometimes the city court citation process, especially on commercial property, is just not going to satisfy what needs to be done to clean it up. But the council put all that in the budget and, has been behind it throughout, and that's the type of thing that'll be referred to me.
Okay.
Yeah, these properties, like the house on Park Road, that don't have nobody living there, it's hard
Right.
to get anybody to do anything, cause you don't know where they're at, or who to contact to get anything done, and like Tessa said, she didn't have no funds to get it done
Right.
anyway.
Well, especially when somebody's in the nursing home, most of the time, I do a lot of nursing home cases, and most of the time, the property owners think that TennCare they've turned that house over to TennCare. And that's not what legally happens, but they don't understand that process, nor do they have anybody that they can call that really explains that to them, and they think there's nothing that can be done. They can't do anything with the property because the mother's in the nursing home, and there are things that we can do. And we can get a lien to get in front of that TennCare claims.
And we can collect our money back through the city if we do go in and clean it up or whatever, we can put that lien and get, the city can get their money back.
If there was ever a time that there would not be an avenue to recover, it would come in front, I think that it would always be brought in front of full council, that you guys would be informed and say, in this situation, are you going to send the street department out for this property, and there's a likelihood that you may not be able to recover for those costs. I think that would always have to be a decision by the council, based on the codes, and Lloyd and I have studied and dug through them for months now. And that would always be your all's decision on a case-by-case basis. But there are a lot of opportunities that we can go in, get them cleaned up, file a lien, and then later on, if it's in the property, if the property owner doesn't want to sell it, at that point, we can put a lien on it, and sometimes we can go ahead and get the property sold to get somebody there that will take care of it and assist a property owner with going through that process, because they don't know how to do that.
Sounds good.
And And I wanna recommend these two ladies here, they're doing a great job.
Yes, they are. I've heard good things.
One other thing we was talking about the other night was, thinking about it, that there's a house on Crabtree Lane. That the occupants that are living there without water and electricity. And legally, we can't let them do that, correct? So, we had the same problem once before with one living in a U-Haul truck, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got them people some help, something, I can't remember how it was. Can you remember?
Brian did something.
Yeah, they got, I think Brian knew some avenues, some resources, and he helped them there, so that might be something else that we might
Yeah,
get.
we need to try to help.
Try to help those folks,
We
yes.
need to try to help them if they're living there without water and, electricity, you know, it's
See
just.
what assistance, like in the homeless
Yes.
shelter, there's homeless shelter places like, there's some help, we try to find out the situation and see if we can get them some help. Sad part, I'm not saying this might be the case, but sometimes they don't want any help. They refuse it, but sometimes, most of them they will. But, yeah, we'll definitely try to, if nothing else, get Brian, maybe run by there or one of these ladies, go with one of these ladies, whatever, and look at it, maybe try to
See
get
what
what
the
help.
conditions
Yes.
are, but like Tessa says, they're not really, legally, they can't stay there without water and electricity.
Right, they can't.
They can stay there?
No, they can't, the
Okay.
health
Oh,
department, and I can, and they, the agencies won't allow children to be kept in those circumstances, and if they don't have so children are removed from those circumstances. And then the health department won't allow it either, so.
Well, I thought it
And
was-
and under our code, they're not, especially some of the provisions that the amendments you all passed, they're not, people have to be in accordance with code in order to, live in a piece of property. They can't just, so no, so doing nothing is not an option for them.
Okay.
You know,
No,
y'all are
definitely.
talking about helping them, but if they don't want, they can't stay there.
Right.
That's just not an option.
Under the property maintenance code, it'll fall under unfit for human occupancy. And if they refuse to leave or refuse help, we can condemn it. And then we would have to go through the legal process of evicting.
So we need to send Brian over to.
Probably get with Tessa, let her
Tessa.
and Brian get together and discuss
Did
options.
you go out there the other night?
No, it was dark, I wasn't gonna go by myself. By the time we left here and I posted those properties, it was dark and I wasn't gonna
Do
do it.
you care to get with Brian on that?
No,
What you
okay.
got?
Did you ever find out an exact address, cause I don't, it's kinda hard for me to find things without an exact
We
address.
Some of the stuff I sent you, I can find you, always find you legal addresses of how to serve a property owner. It's not necessarily who's living there, but the person responsible is the property owner.
Right.
So if they're letting it happen, or they haven't checked their property that it's happening, and they act like they don't know about it, they have a duty to know.
Well, with
What's
this
going on
house,
with the
we've mentioned it several times before, but what happened is the mother had passed away and she's left it to two siblings. One lives in Alaska that's been paying the, taxes and stuff on it. And this is like his sister that has come here. And I said, I don't even know if he knows that she's there. I mean, I don't know that because I don't know the person. I've seen her walking through my neighborhood.
Right.
But, so that's the case. You have one sibling that's just paying the land tax sit on it every year, so they won't, you
So it
know,
won't go into tax sales, what they're doing.
yeah.
It's 145, right? I kinda picked around, I kinda think it's 145.
Okay, you get with Brian, see what you can do.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
But those types of things, I could definitely do something about that if it's been inherited and somebody's not following up on their ownership deeds.
Okay.
Sounds like.
Anything else going on that?
Tessa, do you have anything you wanna comment on?
I guess we just need to get the Arnold properties before the board to vote to,
Okay, we'll do it the next meeting.
they've been posted the proper amount of time, and as far as I know, I don't think Kathy's had any contact with them either. we've not had any.
We'll do it the next board meeting, then we'll turn it over to Ken.
I've done some background and sent it to them on some of those properties to make sure that how they were held and which family member held it and who to serve and address it to.
I sent them to every address,
Okay, good.
and they all came back. There was one address that they refused.
Yeah.
It was unclaimed, but the rest of them just come back as like not a good address.
Well, refusal is the same thing as not accepting.
Or unclaimed, I'm
Right,
sorry, it was
unclaimed.
unclaimed, yeah, same thing.
But we can also always get a process server to serve.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right. Number 10, council to discuss bids on turnout gear. Smith.
It's another one of the budget items for the turnout gear for the fire department. I'd like to make a motion that we advertise for bids for turnout gear. Seven, Eddie?
So,
I think seven sets, 7 or 8. I think it's 7.
Yeah.
It was 5 a year, but we was gonna go, this year would be a couple extra in order to
Finish it up.
finish it up.
well, you've got the new guy too, so.
7 or 8. But this is just to advertise for bids, so we understand that. I do make that form of motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor say aye. Okay, motion carries. Number 11, council discuss fire hydrant maintenance fees. Okay, we had a public hearing on that, earlier. Didn't have any comments from the public. Huh?
Mr. Lloyd, their copy.
Okay, Mr. Smith.
The resolution in front of you is 2018-06, it's amending resolution. And on the front page, you'll see the schedule of the hydrant maintenance fee. If you'll turn back to the third page, it's in the packet of the resolution of 2002-08. You'll see the existing, and over on the right-hand side, you'll see the increase to the cent to the dollar wise. The average single-family residential inside the city is going to be a 35-cent increase. This does bring us up to the same level as Jacksboro is in place. I said this was put in place in 2002, and this is the first time that the city has actually updated to the current level. You go down through, you go from single-family to outside and inside the city, small business, multifamily, goes all the way up to the public institutions, the commercial side, hotel, motels, and
That means you're gonna get $4.20 more from us every year.
Hmm?
35 cents more is $4.20
Oh.
a year.
$4 what a year? Penny a day. A little penny a day.
also this resolution, there's a change in some verbiage in it that adds staff to what the fee can be used for. Primarily in the past, it's only been for equipment. This here allow for staffing as well. Same way the fireman that's been put in as a full-time position, instead of the city general fund providing to it, this will actually come out of the hydrant maintenance fee to provide for that fire force we provide. You know, the biggest question that's gonna be asked is, you know, what is the benefit to the city, the citizens to get to it? This here just maintains their ISO rating with a full-time fireman. It keeps the ISO rating at a 5 inside the city and a 5X outside, which greatly determines the cost of your homeowner's insurance and fire protection. This does assist in that, keep it at that level. The one thing that I would like to add to it, and it's a thought that I've got to it, for the resolution that sits here before everyone, I would like to add into the resolution that we could exempt small businesses that are owned by residents inside the city with requests, by their request, of employers of 5 and under employees. Most of your small businesses we have inside the city are already paying the residential fee to it. You take a business that adds into it, I mean, you're not looking at $54 a year, but still yet, if you're on a small business, $54 goes a long way at the end of the year for a lot of people, the smaller businesses. That is the amendment I would like to make to this as well. Anybody else have any input?
Anybody else have any discussion? You like, what you're saying is you make a motion to pass it with that amendment?
Yes.
That they would have the, but they would have to,
Contact,
they would have to ask for the exemption.
they can contact and ask for the exemption. Small business owners with 5 or less employees who live inside the city and operate their business within the city limits. And that's a benefit again therein too, of someone who owns a business inside the city versus outside the city.
But they have to ask for the exemption.
They have to call and ask for that exemption.
Is that the form of motion, sir?
I make the form of motion.
Okay. Do I hear a second? Discussion?
I have a question. When you're talking about 5 or less employees, is that the owner and other people, or does that include family members? Because if you get into an owner's spouse and a child, you've got 3 employees right there, and that's what you deal with employees.
I would say 5 or less total.
Okay, total, okay. Just whoever they pay payroll on. Okay,
If they're paying their working comp taxes to cover
Okay.
themselves and so forth, it makes their employee correct.
they can exempt out family members, but you're saying if they are required to have comp, then they can have.
I'm just asking if that's an option to look at, or we just want to say 5 total employees.
You can have 5 total and not have, and not be required to have comp, which is 5 or more, because family members can exempt from that. That they don't get counted in that 5, and that's why I brought that up. So you want 5 total for right now, and then if we need to, if you have
We can
a
address this.
situation that you want the board to consider, they can always consider a specific business and who their employees are. Because you may run into some special circumstances, because, you know, a lot of people have family in their businesses. That can always come in front of the board. You agree with that?
We're just looking, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but as far as the total number of businesses, it's not gonna be that big
Right.
to look at inside the city we have.
Okay.
But right now, let's just say that it's 5 employees. And if
okay.
any question, we can readdress the council later.
Okay, very good.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Eric Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Beth Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson?
No.
Mayor Stixberry?
Yes. Motion carries. All right. Lloyd, you have your added item
Yeah,
on street paving?
yeah. David had brought to my attention on that, I guess that was that one street over on the thing behind our house.
Mhm.
Well, a lot of people were saying it's alleyway, it's not a street. Some people, I think, are a little bit disturbed, we want to pave it. They want to cause water problems. So me and David have talked about it, and we're deciding now, with the council's permission, not to pave that road. So we're gonna widen it when we get the garbage truck, and whenever we need to get in there, we're afraid if we pave it, we're gonna cause people, and turn the water loose on. Be a bigger problem than
Well, that's up to David and you, that's your call. That's your call. If that's what you wanna
Does it
do.
need to be widened?
that.
For the garbage
Yeah, they're gonna, I
Yeah.
think you can widen it some, can't you, David, and gravel it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
we
just
had
a little
started-
short section, when it's not a long road or street,
No.
it's a short section.
But that, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's your call.
We've,
David's
David's
call.
David's actually talked to some of the landowners, and they don't want no drainage system put through their property.
Okay. Well, You know, that's all, if they don't, as far as I'm concerned, that's your all's call, and if that's what the property owners want,
I just don't wanna open up a big can of worms.
no, there's no use kicking that if you don't have to. All right, like I said, that's your call, I don't think we have to vote on anything.
We gonna take that money towards paving another street, or?
You find, yeah, I'm sure you can find something, somewhere else to use it. Sounds good to me, is that agreeable with the board?
Just wanna make sure the council was on board, and that's, I personally think, David, too, that it would be the best thing at this point.
That's fine, I have no problem with that. Like I said, that'd be totally your own call. Okay, one more thing I have, I'd like to schedule a workshop, within the next week or so, if possible, to discuss some industrial property in John McGee that a person is looking at. This person would like to meet with us and explain what he wants to do, answer questions from the council. What night can you all, meet to talk to him about it? He's very interested in it. Let's see, this is next Thursday, let's see, what is today, the 13th? The 23rd? Is the 23rd bad, good? For anybody? Is that good or bad?
Work, 23rd works best for
Okay,
me.
Eric, the 23rd okay with you? Lloyd, have any problem with that, bad?
What time?
What's a good time, 6 or 7? I know 6 is maybe a little bit early, you know, you don't matter to me, 6, 6:30, 7, whatever everybody likes.
Anytime Thursday, it doesn't matter.
Anybody have any preference on time, Beth? A little bit later, a little about 6 o'clock, 6:30?
Works for me, and I-
6?
Yeah.
Lloyd,
That's fine.
6 for Eric, 6 o'clock, okay, all right then. Well, thank you.
That's the 23rd.
Yes, sir. All right, any other business come before the council?
Just not tell Patrick if he's still sick.
Yeah, tell Patrick still sick, don't come. Any other business come before the council? If not, hear a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Hear a second?
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you all for coming.